When we launched Operation Road Rescue earlier this year, it was because our roads looked more like the dark side of the moon. Everywhere you looked, potholes, more than 50,000 of them we reckoned. After spending millions to improve the quality, our roads have fallen prey to some of the worst weather in recent history. You may remember January snow, which was reminiscent of those other never-to-be-forgotten snowfalls of 1982 and 1963. Before that, an extended period of severe frost. Then there were the floods of 2007, which were the worst in living memory. Like other councils up and down the UK, Gloucestershire County Council faced unprecedented damage to its road network, and we had to act fast. An emergency inspection programme was carried out to assess the damage.
Yeah, it's rough over there, Aid.
Yeah, I'll take some measurements off this lot here.
And prioritise where the need for repairs was the most urgent. 70 gangs were dedicated to the task of getting this massive repair job underway. Road safety was a priority, so our policy had to be to tackle the worst first. As a result, we repaired more potholes in the first 6 months of this year than in the whole of 2008 and 2009 combined. Now we are moving into a new phase where we can tackle the less urgent damage. Our swift response means we have bought ourselves a little time to plan and carry out repairs that will last longer and improve the quality of our roads. Don't worry, safety is still our #1 priority, and we are still fixing the most dangerous potholes quickly as part of our day-to-day work. But our target now is to resurface larger areas. To explain what we're doing to our roads and why we're repairing them this way, I'm out this morning with Scott Tompkins of Gloucestershire Highways and 2 of his inspection team. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Stan. The county carries out its road maintenance in 2 ways. We have planned and programmed maintenance, which is your resurfacing and patching of roads, and we have routine reactive maintenance. Routine reactive maintenance tends to be filling up potholes and doing minor repairs to the road. Now, we only have a limited budget for the planned repair work, and so we have to decide how much routine reactive maintenance we do, and that is done through our safety inspection policy. So we want to keep the roads as safe as possible. High-speed roads with lots of traffic are inspected monthly, so most of your A roads and B roads are inspected monthly. Other roads in the county of more minor roads with less traffic are inspected either on a 3-monthly cycle or an annual cycle. So our very, very minor roads in housing estates and out on our rural network would be inspected annually. And here you see that they're looking at a bit of scabby road. They've measured those defects, and they don't measure up to the criteria which we consider to be a safety defect. They might not give you the best ride quality when you drive over them. They don't look very pretty, but it's not considered a safety defect. So they'll be put into the program for some point in the future to be resurfaced or to be patched. But the guys are out looking for the worst defects out on the network, those defects that measure up to either be repaired within 28 days or to be repaired within 24 hours. Stan, this is a good example of a pothole. The inspector will measure up the defect on the road, and he uses 2 rulers to get a measurement. And by looking at the size, the width, and the depth of the pothole, he can determine if it's considered a safety defect through our policy. And if he marks it with a white circle around the defect, that means we're going to repair it within 28 days. If it's a deeper defect, we'll put an X through it, which means we'll repair it within 24 hours.
And so how do you now record where the defect is so that the repair gang will be able to identify it when they come along with the material?
The inspectors carry a data capture device, which they use to locate the defect on a mapping system. So it's got GPS in it and locates the exact location of the defect. And he also records the size of the defects and how much material is required to make the repair. So the repair gang has as much information as possible so they know what to bring and where to come to make the repair.
I think there's a rough area approaching.
Some deterioration on the roads.
For most of our rural carriageway network and our urban carriageway network, we'll do it through a driven inspection where they drive the inspector vehicle at between 10 and 20 miles per hour with their lights flashing, with one inspector inspecting the road and one driving. So Stan, previously we were out looking at a bit of a road with our inspectors, and they had found some defect on the road that didn't measure up to be considered as a safety defect to be repaired from our routine maintenance gangs. But at some point in the future, we will have to repair that bit of road through our planned program of maintenance. Now, we have lots of roads in that sort of condition around the county, so we have to prioritize where we carry out these repairs. As you can see here, on this road, we're carrying out a very significant amount of maintenance. We're planing out a significant amount of the road, putting in a base course and a surface course, which will hopefully bring back 20 years of life to this bit of network.
That's great. Yeah, I only wish we had enough money to do all our roads this way. That would get rid of our pothole problem altogether for a few years. The fact that potholes have now become part of the national debate just shows the extent of the problem across the country. But here in Gloucestershire, we're getting on with the job. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone for their patience and ask everyone using Gloucestershire's roads to please drive carefully while the work continues.